Sophie's Knapsack by Catherine Stock. One day, Sophie and her father were looking out the window. "It's time to show you some real sky, Sophie," said Daddy. "Let's hike up to Purple Cloud Rock next week." Sophie's mother took her to buy a red knapsack and a blue sleeping bag. The night before they left, Sophie packed warm socks, a sweater, and some snacky things to eat into her knapsack. She was very excited. Sophie and her mother and father left the city early the next morning, and they were far into the countryside when the sun came up. "Here's a cup of hot cocoa and a cinnamon donut for you, Sophie," said Mother. They arrived at the park at noon. They set off down the trail. "I feel like a tortoise carrying his house on his back," said Sophie. The trail led through a meadow filled with yellow and purple blossoms. A blue dragonfly fluttered over Sophie's head. "Sing ho for the life of a bear," Daddy sang out. They came to a clear blue lake. "Let's pitch the tent under those pine trees," said Mother. It was getting chilly. Sophie took her sweater out of her knapsack and collected pine cones for a campfire. They had beef noodle soup and thick slices of bread and cheese for supper. The warm fire crackled lazily. "Look, Sophie," said Mother. "There's the Big Dipper." Mumbled Sophie sleepily. Sophie woke up the next morning to the smell of sizzling bacon. She scrambled out of her sleeping bag. An eagle circled slowly above the lake. Suddenly it dropped into the water and caught a fish. "Aha, someone is having trout for breakfast," said Daddy. After breakfast, they carefully put out the fire and set off again. "Lead the way, Sophie," said Mother. A rabbit skidded across the path ahead of them and disappeared into the bushes. Insects buzzed in the hot morning sun. "This is steep," puffed Sophie. "Not much farther," said Daddy. "Need a ride?" "I'm okay, thanks," said Sophie. Finally, they arrived at the top of Purple Cloud Rock. All around them was nothing but blue sky and wispy white clouds. "It feels like the top of the world," said Sophie. Daddy passed around a flask of lemonade. Sophie found a box of animal crackers at the bottom of her knapsack to share with her mother and father. That night it rained. Sophie listened to the thud of raindrops on the side of her tent. She snuggled down into her warm, dry sleeping bag. The ground was damp the next morning, but the sun was out again. The trail back to the car had lots of splashy puddles. Sophie took off her knapsack and settled down for the drive home. The knapsack was splattered with mud and full of cracker crumbs, but the fresh green scent of pine cones kept Sophie company all the way back to the city. The end.